talk about the whole TMT, the Kukia Imauna, Mauna Awakia situation, because a lot of people ask about it. Like they see me posting, or they see other people posting. Sorry, I'm down here. Other people posting about TMT, Kukia Imauna, Mauna Kea, but they don't quite know. And that's people here, especially on the continent. Like I have a lot of friends that are from the States, and they don't quite know exactly what I'm talking about, especially when Aiolelo, Hawaii. So I kind of wanted to share, I want to kind of explain what TMT is, first of all, but I also wanted to kind of give my thoughts, my mana'o on it, right? And I just wanted to say, you know, I'm so, like, I'm piha'o, you know, like, because the amount of people and of protectors and the amount of people that, you know, stood with Mauna Kea, stood for Mauna Kea was amazing across all islands. So I got to start with that. So I wanted to explain what TMT is. So TMT is it's short for 30-meter telescope. And yes, it's literally 30 meters tall. And you're asking, well, why is it so tall, Kobe? Well, the reason it's so tall is because it's gonna have a whole bunch of mirrors, right? So, you know, I don't know exactly how a telescope works. I mean, I know how a telescope works. I just don't know, like, the exact workings of it. Anyway, so it's gonna be a lot of mirrors, and it's gonna be the biggest. It's gonna be bigger than the Hubble Space Telescope, if you guys want that for reference. But it's gonna be the biggest one ever, and it's basically gonna be able to see farther out and get clearer pictures because of all of the mirrors. So it's 30 meters because it needs to have all of those. It needs to fit all of those mirrors. Okay, so that's what TMT is. Now, why Mauna Kea? A lot of people are asking why Mauna Kea. Well, so there are a lot of telescopes in the world, but a lot of them are in the southern hemisphere. And the scientists got together, the scientist people, I don't know what their names are, so sorry, I don't know what their names are, but they were like, oh, we need something in the northern hemisphere, right? And when they're looking for a place to place a telescope, they want to look for the best climates, so that their equipment stays clean, healthy. I don't know what the word is. But they're also looking for visibility. They're looking for weather. They're looking for, obviously, the height, because the closer you are to the sky, the more that you can see. All of that fun stuff, right? And so the two places that they narrowed it down to was La Palma, which are in the Canary Islands, off the coast of Spain. And the second place was Mauna Kea in Hawaii. So they ended up going with Mauna Kea because it's higher. It's the highest peak in Hawaii, and it has the drier of the two climates that they were choosing between. So that's why they ended up choosing Mauna Awakia. Okay, so besides all of that, okay, so now we got that out of the way. Why are Hawaiians mad, upset? Why are they protesting? Why are they, outcrying? Why is there an outcry for Heva? Well, here's what's going on, right? So Mauna Awakia, as I said, is the highest point, the highest peak in Hawaii. Yeah, it's the tallest peak. So it's the closest to the heavens, right? So a lot of people go there, a lot of Hawaiians, cultural practitioners from way back in the day up until now, they used to go to Mauna Kea to be close to the gods, you know, give their offerings, pray to who they needed to pray to. And a lot of people thought it was a home to like gods like Poliahu, you know, which is the goddess of stone. Anyway, it's a huge cultural site, right? Because it's the closest to the gods. And it's just a place where Hawaiians used to gather to take part in Hawaiian culture, especially now. You know, it's because all the history, all the ancient sites are up there. People go there to pay respects and all of that stuff. And I say all that stuff loosely, so don't take that the wrong way. So that is the That's the cultural side of it. The ecological side of it is that, if that's even the word, the ecology of it all, is Mauna Kea is part of the biggest watershed on the Big Island, right? So watershed, for those of you guys don't know, it's the rains and all of the greenery and all of the roots and all of the, you know, all of the different greenery, shrubbery helps to keep the water, you know, helps to, I'm not the best one to explain how a watershed works. Basically, it filters through and goes into the aquifers, and the aquifers are the like underground water storage, like natural water storage. And so when you're building a telescope, there's a lot of digging that needs to be done, a lot of removing of things, especially like greenery and stuff like that, and rocks and all of that stuff that needs to be moved. And there's a lot of placing of piping that needs to go down. All of that stuff needs to happen, right? And so what we're afraid of, what I'm afraid of, is that that the TMT is going to do irreparable damage to the watershed, which then affects the aquifers, which then can affect, you know, the ahupua'a, the natural ahupua'a system from Mauna. It's from Mauka to Makai. All the streams, you know, can be affected that way. There's just a whole bunch of things that could be affected when they do construction and when TMT is finally there, that we can't fix. You can't fix an aquifer. Once it's broken, right? I'm sure you could like rehab it a little. I don't know the specifics, but plus, besides just the watershed, the aquifers, and the streams, and you know the natural ahupua'a, you have all of the plant and animal life that's there. Not just the endemic plants. You have the endemic insects, the you know, the whatever animals are up there, the birds. You have all of them that, you know, their habitat is being disrupted just as much as the native Hawaiians are, right? So, you know, you're gonna see different pollination seasons, and you're gonna see different migrations. So, you know, you lose out on that as well, just on the ecological and the ethnobotanic side of things, right? On top of all of that, if you guys aren't familiar with what the Great Mahele is, well, let me start this way. Mauna Kea is ceded lands, right? So if you don't know what ceded lands is, back in Kamehameha III, Kauikeaoli's days, he made land ownership and land division a thing, where he separated it into thirds. And it's funny because Kamehameha III cut it into thirds, and that's how I remember it. But he cut into thirds, right? So 1/3 went to the Maka'ainana, went to the commoners, so that they could own land, and we all know that was mostly white businessmen. The other third went to the chiefs, the ruling chiefs of the islands, of the different mokus and of the different ahupua'as. And then the third was kept for the kingdom, what they call crown lands, what we now know as ceded lands, right? And ceded lands, because it was from the crown, it was supposed to be used in perpetuity to support the Hawaiian people, to help the Hawaiian people perpetuate their culture, and help make them, you know, better as a people, right? And that's why we have OHA, that's why we have DHHL to manage things like that, right? So Mauna Kea is part of ceded lands. That's part of lands that was owned by the king, by the crown, and given to the people in perpetuity, the Hawaiian people in perpetuity. And TMT doesn't, you know, it doesn't perpetuate Hawaiian values. It doesn't enhance the way of the Hawaiian people, and that's the exact opposite of what ceded lands is. So that's what TMT is doing. It's in effect saying fuck ceded lands, or you know, screw what, you know, Kamehameha III said, to use this land in perpetuity. But whatever, that's besides the point. So that's another case against TMT. And just a legal, if you guys don't know the legal history, It's been a decades-long battle, but in 2015, if you guys remember, the BLNR, the Bureau of Land and Natural Resources, granted TMT a permit, and they said, yeah, build TMT, go, run them. And Hawaiians were like, no, thank you. And they took it to court, and they had like not a tribunal, but like a hearing. And Amano, I think that's what his name is, was like the judge, and he gave a 300-page order that said, yep, go ahead, TMT, run them. And Hawaiians were like, no. So they took it to the Supreme Court, and most recently, the Supreme Court of Hawaii upheld the decision, and they said, you know what, TMT, go on, run them hard. And so that's where we're at now with TMT, and that's why we have an outpouring of support for Kukia'i Mauna, is because where was the Hawaiian voice in all of this? Where was the Kupuna's insight? Where did we look to, you know, say, hey, here's the environmental impact, here's the cultural impact, here's the legal impact, and again with ceded lands, and that just never happened in the way that was pono for both sides, yeah? So that's why we have a lot of people right now protecting and protesting TMT. And so my views specifically on it are, I think TMT is a waste of money. $1.3 billion to build it can go to a lot of better things. I can go to amazing things that will help and help further the Hawaiian people and help, you know, propel them into, you know, to do amazing things, right? I get it. For those of you guys that don't know, TMT is, they've made a commitment to donate or to give $1 million to STEM projects, you know, in their tenure here at Mauna Kea. So I can imagine that David Ige and the DOE and the state of Hawaii is looking at it and saying, oh, well, you know, that's a lot of money over a lifetime. So that's where I'm at. I think what's missing was that there was no pono conversation between both parties or all three parties. It was a unilateral decision. And unilateral, I mean by the state of Hawaii. Of course, we know that there's 3 different branches that could have been affected by this, or could have affected change in this. But it was a unilateral decision without the Hawaiian people, against the Hawaiian people's wishes. And so I think I know that's why a lot of Hawaiians are up in arms. But I support you guys, Kukia'i Mauna. I totally get it. Aloha ke kahi, I stand with you guys. But for those of you guys who may not understand what that means, I hope this helped you guys a little bit. If I left out information that you thought was important, or if you have, you know, you have something to correct, definitely I'm open for open dialogue. Go ahead and leave a comment. I would love to, you know, get more learned. And if you guys have more questions, ask away, all right? Hopefully, you know, an educated person can form an opinion that's not put out of their asshole. So hopefully you guys know a little more about TMT, Mauna Kea, and the Kukia'i Mauna movement, yeah? So, Eo, I'm here. Let them know, Eo no mako, we're here forever and ever and ever, and we're not going to go without a fight until the last Aina Aloha. Aina Aloha. Aloha Aina. Well, Aina Aloha. Land of love. Anyway, okay, mahalo. You guys have a good day. If you guys are out there, oh, my phone like act all crazy. If you guys are out there, be safe, stay hydrated, okay? Aloha ke kahi, malama ke kahi, okay? Aloha.